All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for the Life Skills 360 event. My name is Elizabeth. I'm the HR project administrator here at ASUCLA. I'd like to welcome everyone and pass it over to my colleague, Kelly Goodman.
Thank you all for coming. My name is Kelly Goodman. I am the outreach manager for Associated Students of UCLA. And before we get started, I just want to recognize some people who work with us behind the scenes. We have Ramey Vale, who's the director of HR for ASUCLA is here, as well as Mary Romo from Event Services. So they are on here as well, and they've been instrumental in getting this program off the ground. So today's event is twofold. First, we're going to give you a demonstration of our life skills page, which can be found on the ASUCLA website, and it's housed under Student Union. We felt that that was the appropriate place for it. The reason we have this is it got started very grassroots from students who just, a topic came up, a student didn't know how to fill out paperwork to go to the doctor by herself. So we thought, maybe if we had somewhere that all the departments can give us information and we have one place where students can find what they needed, and then it grew to students and staff. So that's kind of what Life Skills page has become. Ben Sharp, I'm going to introduce in a moment, he's one of the students who provided most of the content for this. He got a lot of it along with another student, Hannah. It was really student focused driven, so we're very proud of it, and it's a passion project. So today, along with a quick overview of what the site is, we've also invited 3 panelists from across the campus to talk about what resources and give a demonstration of what resources we have housed on the life skills page. So I'm happy to have here from Financial Wellness, we have Belgiany Molina. From Basic Needs, we have Michelle Cabrera. And from C.A.P.S, Counseling and Psychology Services, we have Cecilia Molina. So before we get to those panelists, I would like to introduce Ben Sharp, one of our students who is going to give you an overview of a little demo of what this life skills page looks like. Ben?
Hey, everybody. Thank you guys for coming. Let me know if you hear an echo or anything. But yeah, as Kelly was saying, I am a student at UCLA. I also work alongside Elizabeth in the HR office. So I spent a lot of time over really the past year or so working on this website. This is our second, I guess, annual event. We had an in-person event, kind of a similar structure last spring, I believe. So we appreciate you guys all coming out here today. I'm going to start with a little overview of the website. Elizabeth should have sent a link in the chat so you guys can look through. But everyone should be able to see my screen. Let me know if you cannot for some reason. But this is the homepage of our ASUCLA website, the general one. So as you can see, I'm just going to go through a quick walkthrough of how to navigate the site, what you can expect to see. If you go to the Student Union at the top here, there's a little drop-down menu, and you'll see the life skills section on there. We think eventually the plan is we might potentially be able to have that as a separate header, but just for right now, remember that it's harvested in the Student Union section, which is pretty fitting. Again, this is, as Kelly was saying, this is for students, especially a lot of whom are, maybe first-time workers that need greater help or transparency in some kind of skills that they need to develop, as young adults. So when you go to this life skills section here, you will see our sections that we have right now. So we have a new section that we just created, which is pretty topical, obviously. This is the wildfire section. And we think in the future we could generalize it to maybe add more general, national disaster or natural disaster resources, just depending on what pops up. But as you can see here, we try to make it very simplistic and easy to navigate in terms of the sections. In terms of the pictures that kind of link to what the topic is. So whenever you click here, you can click Learn More, and you can see the drop-down menu of everything that we have under the specific header. So we try to segment it out, have a short to the point description of what you can expect at that particular link or particular site. So as you can see here, we have a lot of apps, a lot of websites, resources specifically for natural disaster preparedness, emergency warning systems, everything here. If it's a particularly like extensive resource. It has drop downs for additional things. And there are always these learn more buttons on the right, which will directly link you to the particular site. So there's a lot of information here. Again, some of them might overlap with other sections like C.A.P.S I will talk about in a bit. But as you can see here, we also have community resources at the bottom. So this is a pretty substantive section that was obviously created and inspired by what took place about a month ago now. This will continue to stay relevant, obviously. So this will be an important part of the website. And then moving on from that, these are our three sections, which if you were here last year, you probably will recognize. These are kind of the, I guess you could say, pillars of what we were looking at when it comes to, giving students and student workers that work for ASUCLA kind of a fundamental foundational knowledge on, what skills are required as a young adult, maybe filling in whatever knowledge gaps we might notice in particular employees. So financial skills is obviously a very critical one, especially like I was saying before, if you're a first-time worker, which a lot of these student workers perhaps are, like I was when I first started in HR 2 years ago. So this is an overview of everything finance related that will be helpful to students. As you can see, we have little sections here for financial support. There are lots of different centers that can help students get either presentations if they have like a specific knowledge or area that they want to increase their knowledge in, which we'll talk about in the panel, obviously, too. But there are all these drop downs here. There's some more in-depth information on scholarships and grants. So if you have any students that are curious about that, or maybe perhaps work study, that is all linked on this section of the page. So like I was saying before, it's very easy to navigate, should be pretty straightforward. You just click on the Learn More section and you can see all of these resources. A big inspiration for this website from the beginning was just kind of streamlining the plethora of resources that are available for students, because I think in a lot of ways we all realize like UCLA does have a ton of resources online. So it's not that there is no information or there's a lack of it. It's just that in a lot of cases, getting to it is not intuitive for students. They might get overwhelmed by, the expanse of things that they see on the UCLA website. So like, for example, if we go back to the scholarships and grant section right here, you might notice on this website, like this is the general UCLA website. You have to go from the home page to a specific header and then down here. And there's a lot of text on this page, which obviously it's a pretty significant area of interest. So obviously it's going to be pretty extensive, but our intent with the website is to make this as simple as possible. So just one button, one very, very straight to the point explainer of what this is for students, because again, the whole intent of this is to make this a better experience for the students and to make sure that they have a versatile skill set necessary to succeed. And then as you can see, when we go down here, there's pretty much a big expanse of things regarding, if you're a student, you're interested in printing services on campus, if you need assistance with food security, if you want particular health and well-being benefits, this is all linked here. I think the plan is in the future, we might segment it up a bit more. So we'll have like an explicit wellness section. We might have like a lifestyle section. But as for right now, these are harvested or housed here. So all of these will give you, or whatever student workers or whoever, is interested in learning more about learning life skills that are necessary to succeed. This will all be here. So this is the financial section. And then there also is an employment section. As you can see here, this is particularly important because again, this is intended for student employees, many of whom perhaps have never had a job before, or certainly not perhaps at the college level. So this segment gives you particular forms. It's a bit more substantive in terms of the W-4, the I-9, direct deposit. This is kind of the overview. It gives you step-by-step instructions on kind of what the overview of the form is, what you can expect to have to fill out, what are the implications of it. Because again, this might seem a lot maybe nebulous to students that don't have a lot of experience in this field. So if any student goes on here and they see W-4, they can click on here. You get access to a PDF that automatically opens, gives you an overview of how to fill this out, and just try to make it really streamlined and simplistic for students to understand. If you need advice on how to go about getting your first position, baseline workforce standards or expectations, these are all another link on this page. Direct deposit form, I-9 form. This is an especially important one. Obviously, UCLA is a very diverse community, as we all know. In my experience working in HR, we have a lot of interactions with international students, people that have visas, people that need some kind of special work authorization. And it's not particularly easy for a lot of people. So the whole point of this is to kind of make it streamlined. So if people come in for a job orientation, they know exactly what documents they need to bring in, kind of the drop down here of what is accepted for like onboarding purposes. So just trying to streamline these things and make them as understandable as possible for students, that many of whom are in this introductory position to work, either at ASUCLA or just in general. And then another very important section here is the professional skills section. Beyond just working at ASUCLA, when students are thinking about further careers in employment, kind of talks about here in the descriptor, like your career horizons, just kind of like a more long-term perspective on employment. This is also here. So this is a pretty extensive section. We have links to like the Career Center on campus. We try to strike a balance on this website between having UCLA resources and also outside of UCLA resources, so that you're getting a wide range of media to consume and information to look at. This has the links to all of our pertinent professional platforms. So we have Handshake here. I'm sure you guys are somewhat familiar. This is the college level main kind of job seeking platform. So if a student were to click here, they will get information on how to sign up. Should be pretty simple, which is through UCLA, but this is all available there. If you want to refer a student to the career guide, which is a very extensive 60-page UCLA document on kind of an overview of everything about professional skills, this is also available. Like I was saying before, clearly, students are not having knowledge gaps because of a lack of information, because clearly, I mean, this is here, but perhaps the way to publicize this and to make this more available is still needing to be worked in progress, needing to be worked out. So that is the goal of this whole initiative, hopefully. So if you're a student that never saw this page before, didn't know about it, we're trying to raise awareness about this. Some more information on here regarding whether students are interested in drop-in sessions, whether they want to navigate additional platforms, if they want to get access to a particular software that will help people with their resume or other credential documents for employment. These can all be seen on this website. Even if you want to refer a student to, or just anybody to get interview help, interview preparation, this is also a link that we highlight on here. And then as you'll notice on the bottom, we also include a couple of videos on here. This is another part of the website that we're trying to actively continue working on, adding more short form and long form content to kind of perhaps make things more engaging. If you don't want to, just see a wall of text, this is also available at the bottom of that page. And those are the overview of the 4 pillars that we have right now on the website. Again, for people that maybe you joined a little bit late, all you have to do just on the general ASUCLA EDU website, just go to Student Union, drop down, go to Life Skills, and you'll see these 4 things here. Again, this is a work in progress. We've spent a little over a year now on this. We've added stuff gradually along the way. The plan is definitely to add additional sections, perhaps focusing more explicitly on lifestyle, wellness. We're thinking about adding like an entrepreneurship section as well. That'll supplement that website. But again, this is a work in progress. This is a community intended feature. So if you ever have any suggestions, if you ever have any questions or concerns, please let us know. And we appreciate you all coming out here today. And hopefully that walkthrough was helpful.
Thank you, Ben. That was great. Yeah, we really appreciate it. And as Ben said, this is a living document. I'll get, oh, is that a question or a clappy clap? Okay. My eyes are old. I couldn't tell. Um, and as Ben said, we really welcome any feedback. If you have information to add to us, feel free to email me. We'll put my email in the chat. But I'm going to turn it over to my colleague, Elizabeth Benita Morales, as she will be moderating the panel. And thank you so much, Elizabeth.
Thank you so much for that. So let me go ahead and have Ben share the screen while I go ahead and ask our panelists a couple of questions that we do have for each of them. The first one is going to be directed to Cecilia Colon from the Counseling and Psychological Services. So Cecilia, if you would go ahead and just answer a few questions, but the first one is, can you give us an overview of the mental health resources available at UCLA to students through C.A.P.S, and how can students access those resources?
Yes, so C.A.P.S is considered a short-term counseling center. So whenever a student needs to meet with someone, they just come in and they either give us a call or come in person. But we're considered short-term because we do have what's called session guidelines. You know, there's a lot of students at UCLA, and as much as we have about 80 staff of clinicians, we're not going to be able to see everyone. So there are certain guidelines that we have to put on the amount of sessions that a student can have. So when they initially start, it is a triage assessment. So your first appointment with us is always like the first day you come in and the first time that you give us a call. It is either a phone appointment or, again, we are having more in-person services, so you would just be coming in. There are certain hours for them, though. They are 9 to 4, Monday through Thursday, and 9 to 3 on Fridays. So whenever you have about 45 minutes for your first appointment, give us a call or come in person. While we have the individual counseling, we also have therapy groups that run throughout the quarter. They range from being a little bit more academic to more identity focused. So we have things like dissertation writers groups, but we also have Confiar, which is one of our Latinx therapy groups, as well as even groups that are for survivors of sexual trauma. So we have a wide range that we come out with every quarter. If you go on our website, you'd be able to see, oh yes, which I will put right now. If you go to our website, you'll be able to see our group brochure that we create every quarter that I have right here, but I'm not sure. You guys are not going to be able to see them. When you open the brochure, it has this entire page is all filled with the different kinds of therapy groups that we run every quarter. So while we have that, we also have a psychiatrist on site as well, that you would just have to be referred by one of your therapists here. We have drop-in services at various locations on campus. We have a clinician that goes weekly to the Transfer Student Center. We have someone at the Bruin Resource Center, Black Bruin Resource Center. Again, you can find that on our website, but they are all over campus. And then we have satellite clinics as well that are kind of catered towards more specific groups of students. So we do have like a law school satellite. We have one, a school of dentistry. We have a behavioral wellness center that's usually for either grad students and students that go the med school, or any of these students that are more in like South Campus. We also have crisis services. So our phone number, which I can also put in the chat. Our phone number turns into a crisis line after hours. So if you're giving us a call at the end of the business day, you will be connected to a crisis counselor if that's what you're looking for. So we always try to make sure that you're able to speak to someone whenever you need to. And while insurance can be a little difficult for students, we do have case managers that we call clinical coordinators that can have consultations with you, that can assist you with any kind of, whatever insurance you have, they'll support you in giving them a call and making it a little bit more easier because it can be kind of scary. Um, yeah.
That's great. And thank you so much for sharing that information for everybody so that they have that. And we'll also go ahead and we can share that afterwards for everybody who was here with us today. My next question is for Michelle. Michelle, what is the mission of the Basics Needs Center and why was it created?
So thank you for having me, by the way. Let's see, what is the mission? We are still working on an official mission, but I think overall we're here to support, sorry, automatic lights. We are here to support the students in need on this campus. We were created out of a private donation from what I understand may have been parents of a previous student here who realized that there were a lot of students on this campus that weren't able to access the same resources that their own child, was able to. So this donation was given to the school with the sole purpose of providing basic need or basic resources available to all students who are in any need. So I guess the mission here is for us to be that conduit, that resource for our students to be able to access those resources. We are here to assure that students will have everything that their counterparts who may or may not have the same amount of money as they are. And yeah, so we are here to just basically offer the same resources to every single student on this campus in the same manner. But like I said, as we were created, we are a privately 100% donor funded program that we go by what the donors are basically telling us that they would like to see happen. And right now that is providing basic resources or basic necessities available to every single student on this campus.
Thank you so much for that, Michelle. My next question is for Belgiany. Belgiany, can you share some free or low-cost financial resources available to UCLA students to help them build financial confidence?
Yes. Great question. So I'm just gonna plug in the financial wellness team. Our group of coaches, we're composed of 7 undergrads, 2 grad consultants, and 2 professional staff members. But essentially, you can request as a student a one-on-one coaching appointment, and we can address questions related to budgeting, credit, debt management, you name it, basic investing, that's a popular one. And it's unlimited sessions you can request. You can do it through our website. I know Lauren has been plugging that in the chat, so definitely use us as a resource. We also have on our website a personal tools a web page, and maybe I can share that in the chat here. And also, I will say, I feel like students may already bank with someone, and so I think it's important to let them know you can reach out to your bank and ask questions like, what's this fee on my savings account that I see recurring every month? Utilize the bank you already bank with or credit union. Um, Another one is Westcom on campus. They actually allow you to make an appointment with their financial advisor. So if you have questions, very specific questions that only a financial advisor would really be able to give you guidance on, I would reach out to them. They're a free resource. I will also link you the direct link to that specific financial advisor. I believe his name is, give me one second, Ryan. And so I just linked it in the chat. Another free resource on campus is it's tax season right now. Definitely utilize VITA. stands for Volunteer Income Tax Assistance, and they are a student-led org. And so you'll be meeting with a student to help you prep your tax filing documents. And if you're not necessarily on campus, there's also Free Tax Prep LA within LA County. I can post those as well too in the chat. Those are a few. If you have like specific needs, financial education is so broad, and so it encompasses a lot. And I will just encourage you all again to book a session with one of our coaches or grad consultants.
That's great. I wonder if you can just elaborate a little on how maybe would it be possible for staff as well to benefit from the services?
Yes, we've received that question many times, and we are in talks about kind of brainstorming, seeing how we can offer that service. At the moment, the way our team is funded, we only service enrolled students. But hopefully in the near future we can, because there is quite a bit of a demand. I will say though, not necessarily our workshops, but our ad hoc events are definitely usually open to the whole brewing community. So, for example, we have our Women in Finances panel coming up this March. And so that events like that are generally open up to the whole entire community, including staff. So maybe Lauren or Laura, y'all can link the Women in Finances registration link. I know we have a few spots left, but there will be more events as well. Just make sure you're staying in tune, maybe on our website or on our social media page, which is, I believe, at UCLA Financial Wellness on Instagram. Correct,
Thank you.
Tracy. Sorry, Elizabeth. Staff can't book at the moment a session with us. But I will say my inbox is open if you have general questions. I know I've had a few staff members reach out, and there are more resources outside of the university that we can possibly, link you with. So, yeah.
Thank you. And we'll go ahead and refer to the questions that are being directed to our speakers, to our panel. We'll go ahead and hold off for questions at the end, and then we'll go back to those questions. Thank you so much.
Writing it down, so I'll have them at the end.
Oh.
So yes, I'll write them down.
All right. Our next question is back to you, Cecilia. What steps should a student or staff take if they want to schedule a counseling appointment?
All they have to do is just give us a call. Just like financial wellness, unfortunately, C.A.P.S is specifically just for UCLA enrolled students. There is a staff and faculty counseling center, though, that's on Wilshire that I can actually share the phone number because that is a question that we get a lot as well. Let me go ahead and put that. The phone number is specifically for staff and faculty counseling. But again, in order to start receiving services here, you just have to either give us a call or come in person. You would ask for a triage assessment. As I mentioned before, there are certain hours for them. They are 9 to 4, Monday through Thursday, and 9 to 3 on Fridays. And whenever you come in or you give us a call, just make sure you have about 45 minutes because we will be asking you to fill out some paperwork that you'll find on your patient portal. And then you'll either be meeting in person with one of our triage clinicians or having a phone conversation that typically lasts about 15 to 20 minutes. Based on that that conversation that you have with them, we can either schedule an intake appointment with one of our therapists on staff, or we can assist you with finding something off campus if you're looking for something a little bit more long-term, or if you have another type of insurance, again, we'll be able to assist you with finding something that would be covered by your insurance.
Great. That's good to know. Michelle, I want to circle back to you. Our next question is, who is eligible to receive assistance from the center and how can they access those resources?
Anybody, any currently enrolled UCLA student can access the services here in our space. All they have to do is come in. We are in person Monday through Friday from 9 to 6. So my staff is poised to answer pretty much any questions that a student has with regards to resources. with our location. We are poised to pretty much answer any question of people that walk by because we are located in what I guess officially is the Strathmore building is also very largely parking structure 8. So we do get a lot of public that walk into our space. We do a lot of direction giving, but yes, any student that comes into our space can ask our students, ask myself, ask any of the pro staff who may be in office at that time, questions about resources. But yeah, we don't care what your SAI is. We don't care what level you're at as far as financial aid goes. If you need something, we will help you find it. So.
Thank you so much, Michelle, for that. Uh, Really quick, I do have a follow-up. Out of curiosity, do you have any upcoming events that our students or staff can attend and take the opportunity to speak to
Yeah,
you or someone
so
on your team?
yeah, so right now our biggest event that we actually put on is a free farmers market for all UCLA, all currently enrolled UCLA students. Um, we have it up at the Tippewana Apartments in the multipurpose room there. But it is accessible to every single UCLA student. That is one of our bigger events. There's one happening next Wednesday and then every other Wednesday after that, until December, at this point. And we also do midterms and finals wellness events where we do provide, thanks to you all, we do get, or thanks to ASUCLA, two of the 4 days that we typically use as our midterms or finals wellness. We do have breakfast that we get from ASUCLA. Our students love it. And so yeah, we get them ready for finals, we get them ready for midterms. Obviously finals is coming up in a few weeks. So if they follow us on Instagram, they will find out that our midterms, our finals wellness will begin with breakfast. We also, on March 11th, we will be having hopefully plural dogs, therapy dogs from PAC in our space. So March 11th, we will have hopefully dogs. So everybody keep your fingers crossed, if not a dog. We have been promised at least one. So we are kicking off our finals wellness week with the dogs on that Tuesday. And then we're also having a collaborative open study hall with First to Go, which will also be starting on the 11th. We will be having undergrad from one to 4, and then grad study hall with First to Go from 4:30 to 7. So we have 4:30 to 7:30. And we'll be announcing that collaboration also on our Instagram page. So that's why I have one of my staff members plugging our Instagram. That is our main way that we get all the information out. Right now, since we don't officially have a website yet, we're in the works with that. But yeah, we have events happening in here every day. We have open study hall, so students can come in and they can use the space as a study space. They can access the snacks that we have in here. All they have to do is check in at our front desk and they have everything accessible to them. So yeah. But like I said, our biggest one, we will share it with you all as well, is our farmers market for the students.
Thank you, Michelle, for that. And just to remind everybody, if you do have any questions for our panel, you're more than welcome to put them down on the chat, and then we'll go ahead and read those out for them to answer. At the end, our next question is for Belgeny. Belgeny, what's one financial habit students can start today that will benefit them long term?
Yes. So many things pop to mind, but I'm gonna stick with protecting your credit, just based off of, lots of intakes I've seen recently, interest in credit, and so I would say protect your credit. Know the 5 factors that compose your credit score. And we have like a full hour's worth of content that we can go over with you during a coaching session. But as a college student, again, I would say one thing you can start today is actually go pull your credit report for free at annualcreditreport.com, and that will really kickstart. I was gonna say investing, but not everybody's there yet. So credit is definitely something that you'd want to take care of for sure. And it takes some time to build if you don't have some already. And so now's a good time. Yeah.
That's great. Um, Belgeny, my next question is for you. Many
Mm-hmm.
students rely on loans to pay for their education. What advice do you have for managing student debt and making informed borrowing decisions?
Yeah, this is also a great question. So I would say really getting to know the types of loans even that you're accepting. Oftentimes we can just kind of click accept and even not even know how much we really need. So a few things I would start with, know how much you actually need. So what financial aid offers to you isn't necessarily the number you have to accept. So maybe going through each quarter, itemizing how much expenses you have, and then making the decision of, okay, I'm going to take out X amount for fall quarter, maybe shift things around during winter quarter. So knowing how much you need is key, and then know what kind of loan you're accepting. So there's unsub, there's subsidized, there's private loans, and they all have different terms and interest rates. So once you know what kind of loan you have, you then want to get familiar with your interest rate, and then finally know your repayment options. I know repayments like far down the line, or so we feel like it is. But it's really a matter of knowing how you're going to address that student debt post grad. So familiarizing yourself with if you do have a federal loan, what are the repayment plan options available to you? There's lots of changes happening now, so really important to stay up to date with those. And then if you have a private loan, making sure that you understand what's the expectation again post grad or even now, mostly private loans you're expected to start repayment post grad, but some folks like to get started because interest rate usually kicks in once the money hits your bank account. So yes, all that will help you determine how to best address it post grad. And again, book a session. Our team is well versed in all things loans, and so again, unlimited sessions can be booked with our team to discuss more.
That's great. Okay. Cecilia, back to you. What strategies do you recommend for students experiencing academic stress and burnout?
I think one of the strategies that I would recommend would be to not wait until you're completely burnt out until you look for support. I went to UCLA myself for undergrad, and I know how competitive it can be and uh, how much you want to be like the best, and you put all of this pressure on yourself. And if I didn't have my own support system, then I don't know if I would have been as successful as I was. So I think knowing knowing a group of friends or family that you can go to, being proactive and just checking in on either with us or our RISE center on campus, just trying to have some type of wellness that you can do, well-being, so that you can feel centered would be beneficial for you.
Just as a follow-up to that, do you have any activities that maybe the CAPS Center is offering for students, especially during this time that they're taking midterms?
So at C.A.P.S, the events that we run are the therapy groups that either you have to be enrolled in or you are told by your therapist. So I would highly recommend looking into our RISE Center because they have a lot of workshops and trainings that they run throughout the quarter. I know one of their popular ones are connecting with colors. So it's like it happens weekly where folks can come in, the students can just like color with each other and just have like that connection with everyone. So you're doing either like drawing, painting, and then you're just around people. And I know that they had started that after COVID and the pandemic, not being able to be around, friends. So just having that kind of like gathering space is very helpful for the students.
It is. Thank you so much for mentioning that. Michelle, I have my next question for you. What kind of support and services does the Basic Needs Center offer students?
So right now, the primary support that we do offer is obviously open study space for them to come and they can come and utilize our space to hang out, just chill and relax before or after a class, study obviously if they need to, um, grab a snack. If we have it, we sometimes, we'll have meals in here so they can grab a meal. We also have items we also have hygiene items. We also have laundry detergent, dryer sheets. We have pillows. We have towels. We have blankets if they need them. We've been so fortunate and blessed to receive donations from from the donor that is also working with us on the farmers market, and as a result of that have, like I said, acquired so many additional items that we can now offer students, like I said, such as the blankets. We have free brand new clothing should they need them, t-shirts, sweatshirts. We have campus partners that I would love to name, but there are probably too many, that have been gracious to share some of their items that they have. So like I said, we have sweatshirts from other campus partners, t-shirts that Res Life and Rec have shared with us. So, we have, some that are branded, some that are not, but they're all brand new. When it comes to the clothing, like I said, we have brand new t-shirts that were given to us by our one of our gracious donors, along with underwear, bras, brand new socks. We've received, we have diapers that we have available to students who may have children in their household. So we have a variety of items available to students at this point in time, and we hope, or I hope that I can continue to bring these items in through the graciousness of our donors. Other services that we have, we in this space where it's not just basic needs, but we also house financial wellness. They're one of our amazing partners. We have student loan services, which is obviously if a student is in need of a short-term loan, or needs to do their exit or entrance interview, they can access them for any sort of support. They do have a virtual lobby, so you don't actually have to come in here unless you're about to come pick up a check from them. So they do have, like I said, you can go on to loans.ucla.edu and access the virtual lobby from there if you need to speak to somebody about a loan. They're not housed in our space, but they are part of our family, which is FELSS, the Financial Education Loans and Support Services. It is debt management. So if at any point in time, if you pulled out a loan, you now owe the university money and you need to speak to somebody about how to repay that over a period of time, reach out to debt management. I promise you, they're not as scary as the name sounds. They're not the big bad wolf here on campus. They're actually very helpful and very much willing to work with students when it comes to repaying their loans. And then we have ECRT. ECRT is a phenomenal program that helps students across campus. They are the economic crisis response team. If students are in need of support beyond what financial aid has been able to offer them, or they find themselves in an emergency situation where they're having to use the money that they're using to pay for rent or just everyday life stuff like groceries and stuff like that, paying bills. And now they're in a point where they now owe money. Or they're looking at, do I pay the bill or do I feed myself? Then they can reach out to ECRT, and ECRT in the most holistic way possible will find hopefully a solution for the student. It may be in the form of another loan, maybe in the form of a basic needs grant, but they will find a solution for a student. They will reach out because the ECRT is connected to probably every single office on this campus, along with those of us who are here, because I know they do work with C.A.P.S, they work with financial wellness, and they do work with us. But yeah, so we have a very, very wide variety. For as small as we are, we offer a lot. And all we need is for students to come in and let us know what they need, and we can probably put them in contact. And like I said, because of ECRT's connection to us, we do have connections with pretty much every single office on this campus: A.A.P, student accounts, the registrar's office, financial aid. So if they need any support, we can definitely help them here.
Thank you. That's wonderful. I just have one more follow-up question before I turn it over to our attendees today. I wanted to ask you what's the question? So basically, how can students and the broader UCLA community get involved with your department?
With basic needs specifically, they can come in. Like I said, we're always looking for help for the market. Every other Wednesdays, as of next Wednesday, we're always looking for any staff or students that would like to help volunteer. Right now, we're working with we're able to put this on with a staff of about 4 to 5, depending on anybody's sickness, if anybody's ill or not. So we are able to right now. We're currently able to do that, and we're doing it. We are definitely making it work, but I mean, there is an opportunity for growth within that market space. We are being offered free clothing, free shoes, all kinds of stuff that our partner has donors that are willing to give to UCLA students. But unfortunately, right now, without the help, that means we're kind of shorthanded. So if students and staff would like to help us out on Wednesdays, please feel free to reach out to me. And we could definitely start having, if the more people we have helping us, the larger that this can become, and the more students that we can help throughout campus. And like I said, that means food, possibly brand new clothing, brand new shoes, household items that obviously are probably very much needed within our community, because as you know, we not only have students who live on the Hill, students who live, off, in the university apartments, students who live off campus and are commuting from places as far as San Diego that I know of, because we do work very closely with the commuter student program as well. So we have resources available to us, but it takes a village. And right now our village is kind of small, and I have no problem accepting any other additional support from, like I said, students or staff who would like to help us in any way possible. But yeah, I mean, basically it's manpower, because right now I do officially have a staff of 22, but even then it's all students. And as you all know, our student staff can vary and fluctuate as far as their schedules go. So while I adore my student staff and they put in 120% for me every single day, it still does take a few more bodies to do what we do on Wednesdays. So yeah, so if anybody's interested to help us with the market and help us grow it into what I know that it can become here on this campus, and it become an amazing support for students, then yeah, please reach out to me.
Thank you, Michelle. I appreciate everything your department or your center is doing for their students. So now I'm going to turn it over to our attendees to see if they have any questions. Please go ahead and raise your hand via the Zoom icon if you would like to ask them directly. But we do have one question from Tracy Lee, and she is asking, does this mean, I believe this is addressed to Cecilia, does this mean that staff can book a one-on-one session to talk about investing? Oh, I'm sorry, maybe to Belgiany or Michelle.
And then, right? I think that they cannot.
Right. Yeah. At the moment, we can only meet one-on-one with students, enrolled students. We do make an exception for students if they've graduated within 5 to 6 months.
Isn't answering for you, by the way, that I think the question read cannot. Does that mean we cannot make it? I wasn't trying to answer for you. I had a question, sort of like that for about the Westcom financial advisor. Does the student have to have a Westcom account?
That is a great question. To my knowledge, no. And I think that's because ultimately they'd want you to,
Sure.
bank with them. And so, yeah. But it doesn't hurt to double check. So, initially you can maybe ask, but the portal it allows you to book an appointment. So I'm leaning more towards you don't have to be a member yet.
Questions from attendees? Um, those of you who are managers, about maybe for your students. comments on, even for Ben about the website, comments on the website, any insight, what you'd ideally like to see. I think Ben was right when he was saying that we definitely want to expand it. We want to have more wellness. We would like to get to the point where possibly things like unclog a sink, change a tire, the sky's the limit. But we've started with the tough things like money and jobs. But I'll put it in again, but feel free if you have any comments. We would um, love comments about it in general or specific additions to it.
We
You can also, if you don't have a question now, or if you think of one later, you're welcome to email me at the address I just put in the chat. If tomorrow you say, oh, you know what I should have asked? I'm happy to get the question to the right person.
Kelly, we do have one question. This one
While
is
I
for
was
Michelle.
yammering on, it came up.
What advice would you give to a student who is hesitant to seek help with their basic needs?
Don't. I honestly, I've seen some students, they walk in front, because my office faces the front door, and I see students all the time walk past us, and then they walk past again. And they're a little hesitant to come in, whether it's to meet with us, or ask questions about ECRT. But all I can tell students is, please don't hesitate. I pride myself on knowing that I have what I say is the friendliest staff on campus. We can all argue about it, but that is my personal opinion. And I do pride myself on customer service. So I tell students, please do not hesitate to walk in. We're all in the same boat, honestly. It's students, I don't care whether or not your parents make $100,000, $10,000 a year, $1 million a year. When you're here on campus, when you're in college, everybody is the same. Everybody has a need at some point in time. So please do not hesitate to come in and take advantage of the opportunities that you have in front of you. And that's just not just here in our space, but that's in any space. I say this for for the other panelists that are here. Don't hesitate to reach out to financial wellness. Even, I mean, like I said it yesterday in our staff meeting, and I say it all the time. My daughter hates it that I say it, but the only stupid or the only dumb question is the one that never gets asked. And if you don't ask the questions, you're never going to find an answer, right? So I used to hate it when I had adults telling me this when I was younger, but it's so true. And you don't realize it until probably it's too late. And now you have to either backtrack and fix things. But please do not hesitate. Come in, grab a snack, even if it's just, most of the time the students don't even have to speak to my staff members. They just have to check in at the iPad, come in and grab what they want, or sit in one of the corners and just study. And eventually you'll work your way up to talk to one of us. But I guarantee you, if you walk in and you don't find a smile staring right back at you, I need to be told, because I do tell my students that I need everybody to smile at everybody when they walk in. And that's my cheeks hurt at the end of the day, because I know that if I don't smile, people will think something's wrong, or people just, you're unapproachable at that point. So please do not be afraid. Do not hesitate. Come in, hang out with us, have a good time with us, cry with us. I've had students eventually come in and cry with me, have told me some stories that I start crying, and then a good cry is never a bad thing either. So please do not hesitate to come in. That's all I can say is that just don't hesitate. Come on in. And then at that point, if we have to, we can put you in contact with people like Cecilia, or we can put you in contact with one of ECRT's people, Itzel, Maggie, or Sharifa, or Sarah, or Beljani from Financial Wellness. Yeah, just don't hesitate.
Thank you so much for answering that. All right, well, that concludes our Q&A. Kelly, I'm going to give it back to you.
Just wanted to thank everybody for joining us, those of you who joined us, and thank you so much to our panel. This was great information, and we look forward to, as Ben said, we'd like to do this once a year. We'll hopefully we'll have you all back again. And please keep sending us new information as you have it. As you could see, the document is a living, working, breathing thing, and this recording will be on the page. So if any of you think that some of your students, any of you who supervise students think that they can benefit from this, please point them towards that. And again, I would like to thank Mary Romo and Remy Vale for their help behind the scenes and for allowing us to have this amazing panel. So thank you all. And again, any questions, feel free to email me. I just put my email in the chat. Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me. Bye, everyone.
Well, it was great. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
Appreciate
so much.
Oh my God. That was great.
I just want to say thank you guys. You guys were actually my daughter's first job here on campus.
All right. How do I turn this off?
At the bookstore or?
Bookstore.
Stop recording.
Oh, that's cool.